All right, we've got Idaho men's basketball coach Idaho-Verlin. Coach, if you wouldn't mind just making an opening statement about your upcoming season, then we'll take some questions.
Thanks, Jason. Well, we're extremely excited about our upcoming season. I've got 10 new guys, 6 freshmen. So we've been using this extra practice time to get to know each other and to start implementing our systems offensively as well as defensively. But I'm extremely excited about our basketball team. No question about that. Returned Steven Madison, who I think could be one of the best players in the conference, if not the best player in the conference. Last year we had Kyle Barone, who was the WAC Player of the Year, and I think Steven's very similar to Kyle, not in size and stature, but in the ability to score the ball and affect the basketball game. We also returned Connor Hill, 6'2" shooting guard from Post Falls, Idaho, who led the WAC in three-point shooting, and I expect Connor to pick up right where he left off. The other 2 returning players in our program, Joe Kammerer, did not see a lot of minutes, and Ty Egbert was a redshirt freshman. So those are the only 4 returning guys I have. New guys that should make immediate contributions. Glenn Dean, a transfer from the University of Utah, by way of the NC2A graduation rule, is going to the University of Idaho and getting his master's degree. Glenn was the player of the newcomer of the year in the Big Sky Conference as a freshman, and he is a very experienced guard who I think will step in and play immediately. Also at our guard line, Mike Scott is a junior college transfer from Antelope Valley Junior College, who is a very solid player and will see significant minutes at the guard spot, as well as Suki Wiggs, a transfer from, not a transfer, a freshman from the Seattle area. Played prep school last year out east, and then came and joined us this fall and has the ability to be a very, very good basketball player. I think we've got a number of other guys who are going to contribute immediately. Paula Napawe is a transfer from San Bernardino Junior College, 6'9", athletic, long, can do some things around the basket. Also at our post spot, you'll see Bira Sek or Beta Sek. He is a transfer from Olney Central Junior College who has looked really good in our first 10 practices. So I'm excited about where he is at. But like I said, we've got a number of new guys. I didn't mention them all because we're still trying to figure out what they can do, but I'm excited. Their energy, their enthusiasm, and their ability to learn has been very good to this point, and I expect this team to compete for a WAC championship.
All right, we'll take some questions.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Steven as well as Connor's roles as leaders in helping those new guys incorporate into the team?
Yeah, obviously it has to be, they have to do that. No question about that. Steven Madison, who's been in our program 4 years, Connor's been in 3, and Joe's actually a 5th-year senior. All 3 of those guys have to be leaders for us and teach the new guys what goes on in our program. I'm fortunate enough to have Glenn Dean, who's been at the Division I college level at the University of Utah last, who understands how the game is supposed to be played. You know, I've known Glenn since he was in high school. Coach Earlywine coached him when he was at Eastern. And so I feel like we've got a bonus in Glenn as far as leadership.
What are some advantages and disadvantages to having a young basketball team?
I'm not sure what the advantages are. I'd rather have an old one. But, no, I think the advantages is enthusiasm, energy, and sometimes not knowing is a good thing. I think that this team has the ability to play at a pretty high level when we learn what it's all about. Obviously, what the disadvantages are is experience. WAC travel's tough. And anytime you travel as much as we do in the Western Athletic Conference, they have no idea how it's going to affect their body. And being disciplined and being organized and taking care of yourself throughout the entire season is going to be really important for us as we go down the stretch in WAC basketball.
Coach, despite having some success last year, do you think that because you have so many inexperienced freshmen, do you think that's why your team was ranked 4th to finish in the WAC this year?
Yeah, I think that's probably about right. I never put a lot of credence into the preseason polls because especially this year, who knows what everybody's got. I really don't know a lot about a lot of those the other teams. I know quite a bit about Seattle U. I know quite a bit about New Mexico State. The rest of them I really don't know. And so where it's going to all fit together, how we're all going to finish, who knows? The most important poll is the one at the end of the year, and so I think that'll really tell the tale. But preseason wise, yeah, I think probably the reason why we're fourth is because we do have a bunch of new guys, and I think it's probably pretty fair.
Coach, I know your brother Ron was hired at Pacific in March as the head coach. How has your basketball pedigree helped you be successful?
How is mine or his?
Well, just your families.
Our families, yeah. Well, we started coaching 25 years ago together, and we started coaching our high school freshman team. So, and then since then we haven't coached together. So, but the one thing I'll tell you is I have someone to talk to in confidence all the time who thinks the same way I do. And now that he's a head coach, we probably talk more than we ever have. So I think to be able to talk to somebody who knows exactly what you're going through, even when I was assistant at Colorado State and at Utah State, he was at Nevada and Pacific, it was always, I thought, a luxury, a sounding board, whatever you say, that it's been good. And I think it's helped us a lot. The worst games of the world, though, is when you play your brother. And those Big West championships that we played Pacific, those were no fun at all. Thank God we came out on top most of the time.
Coach, the Bakersfield connection, you were there for a couple years in the most successful division, 2 days. Now they're in the conference with you, and your game in Bakersfield will be at the Idaho Center. So first, your thoughts on being in the conference with Bakersfield, and then going back, any nostalgia when you guys play in the Idaho Center coming up?
Yeah, Bakersfield being in the conference, what a great thing for Cal State Bakersfield, no question about it. I know how long and how hard they've tried to get in a Division I conference, and they deserve it. It's a great town, a great city. They've got great basketball fans. At least they did when I was there, and I'm sure they're the same. And it's going to be weird to go back to the Activity Center and the Colorado Center, and sit on the opposing bench. We had a lot of success there when I was there. Obviously, Pat Douglas was the head coach, and we had a number of very good players. But I'm not sure we ever lost a game there. You guys could probably do the research, but if we did, we didn't lose many because the first year we went 33-0. So we definitely didn't lose one the first year, and I'm not sure we lost one at home the second year. So, but probably more than anything is I'm looking forward to going back and seeing some old friends. I still stay in touch with a lot of people in Bakersfield. My wife and I were married in Bakersfield, and it's always kind of been a special place for me, and so I'm looking forward to getting back and playing them. I know Coach Barnes has got a good club. They've gotten better and better as since he's got on board, and I expect them to play right towards the top of the conference, especially if the Bakersfield fans come out like they did when we were there.
Any other questions up here? Coach, I was just curious, talk about, I know you've got brothers on your team this year, and kind of talk about that new dynamic.
Well, that's been an interesting dynamic, Jason, no question about it. Glenn Dean and Perrion Calderette are brothers. Perrion being a first-year player, freshman, only just turned 18, and Glenn, a fifth-year senior and went to prep school. So Glenn's, I think, 24 years old. So there's a difference, obviously a big difference in age. So far, it's been great. Older brother's done a nice job of helping brother make the transition. One thing I hope that doesn't happen, because I don't know how many of you got older brothers, but I got one, and there was times he kind of wore me out. So I hope Glenn doesn't do that to Perrion. Sometimes you need to be your own man, and they've got such a great relationship. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen either. So, but it's been fun. It really has, and both those kids are great guys and good people, and I'm looking forward to Glenn having a good year and Perrion to having a good 4 years, because he's a very talented young man.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Back that way next.